Hi people, moin away from back here again as always and as usual. This is going to be another astrological video and I'm going to do something creatively interesting or interestingly creative. You can see in the top left corner what time it is. This is an astrological chart on Las Vegas. So the city of Las Vegas, as in the gambling capital or one of the gambling capitals in the world, in Las Vegas, Nevada, obviously in the US. Now, before I begin, let me state that this is not a geolocation chart in the sense that this question or inquiry is not aimed and or inquiry is not aimed at the geographical landscape of Las Vegas. No, my intent when asking or this question and or making this inquiry is purely focusing on Las Vegas as a city, so purely pertaining to the people, etc., and so on and so forth. So the actual city of Las Vegas, excluding any territorial or geographically speaking, any geographical territories. Let's just put it that way. Now, so let's begin. First and the second house are ruled by Virgo, which stands for the fact that there is a lot of work going on in Las Vegas. Life revolves around work, 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 both in general, overall, as well as a source of income, or a means of income. The South Node is in Virgo as well, going retrograde. Stands for the fact that people are looking to make as much money as possible through working means in Las Vegas, especially, and or mainly the population that lives there, people that actually live in Las Vegas, or at the very least near Las Vegas. The third house is ruled by Libra, and we've got Zeus there in Libra going retrograde, Lilith in Scorpio, Vesta in Scorpio going retrograde, the Moon in Scorpio, the Earth in Scorpio, and Juno in Scorpio also going retrograde. And then the fourth house is ruled by Scorpio. Now, Zeus in this zodiac sign in the third house. All of these aforementioned planets and/or asteroids and celestial bodies are in the third house. Zeus, in this position, going retrograde in this house, simply stands for the fact that people at a minor level wish that daily life was a bit more balanced. It is already balanced, but people wish that it was a bit more balanced here and there. Um, Lilith, Vesta, the Moon, the Earth, and Juno all stands for the fact that the aim on a day-to-day basis is to make as much money as possible. A ridiculously strong drive aimed at materialism um, on a day-to-day basis, and especially when it comes to women, the female population of Las Vegas and/or the women that work there. Yeah, they use their, on occasion, their in a subtle way. They use their feminine charm again, only at superficial levels. That's why it's subtle as a means of getting what they want, which is money in this case. Anything from, let's just say, minor levels of seduction, any trick in the book that they can employ um, that is part of themselves being female and all, obviously. Juno, for example, also stands for the fact that relationships that people have with each other, not romantic or anything, just any kind of relationship being on the table. Intimate interaction with each other is driven by financial gain, and bluntly put, people use each other as a means of getting what they want, again, which is money. Um, and Lilith says the same thing pretty much. There is a hidden desire essentially towards money. The moon more says that it's open and out and about, but Lilith says that secretly they want more, a lot more. But again, it's not something that becomes an obsession or is of an obsessive nature. That's why it's Lilith. These are minor astrological bodies. The moon and the earth are the only two real planets here. The earth being more of a secondary planet, not a literal planet. The moon is the only real planet here, like one of the classical seven ones. The rest are astrological bodies, I mean, asteroid bodies or celestial bodies and whatnot. Now, you've got Cupido in Capricorn going retrograde 9 degrees in the fourth house. And it's conjunct the fifth house, which is also ruled by Capricorn, with the polar ascendant also being there. 16 degrees in Capricorn in the fifth house. Now, Cupido simply stands for the fact that people are superficially ambitious. They have ambition in a general sense regarding how far they can make it in life at a corporate level as well as overall. You're also seeing Cupido be opposed by Hades, which is in Cancer. And Chronos, which is also in Cancer, but Hades is in the 10th house and Chronos is in the 11th. The polar ascendant in the 5th house simply stands for, again, the same thing that Cupid was saying, ambition, but more pertaining to men, that men um, want to use the prospect at a superficial level, the prospect of ambition in their romantic endeavors as well as their gambling endeavors. Speaking of gambling, we've got Pluto and Aquarius going retrograde in the 5th house, opposing Mars for one. Now, Pluto here going retrograde, Pluto is pretty strong, like super strong, but it's conflicted in the sense that the zodiac sign it's in, the fact that it's going retrograde, and the house that it's in, they oppose each other. So the zodiac sign and the ruler of the 5th house, they oppose each other. And Mars has the same issue at the opposite end of the spectrum or on the other side or adjacently. What that means in any case regarding Pluto is that again, Las Vegas is a huge gambling capital, either the gambling capital of the world or at least one of the top tier gambling capitals of the world. That's why Pluto is so strong. But the ratio from dishonesty to honesty is like 60-40 approximately. Pluto is a bit more afflicted than it is exalted. So there is a bit more negativity than positivity. So positivity, yeah, gambling capital, lots of fun, yada yada yada, the ace of spades and everything. The drawback is again that a lot of businesses, so casinos and whatnot in Vegas are to no good. Let's just put it that way. Anything from rigged games to tipping the scales in their favor, you name it. Um, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, since I'm busy with Pluto, I'll treat Mars as well. That's why Mars is in the 11th house, referring to the main public, 11 degrees in Leo. This degree stands for abandon, which speaks for itself, stands for the fact that people that go to Mars, especially men, since it's Mars, I'm sorry, people that go to Vegas, especially men, since it's Mars, they focus purely on winning big and making all of their dreams come true, and they are willing to do so at any cost and or by any means necessary, and that includes dealing with things that are shady or outright illegal. That's why Mars is also conjunct the 12th house. In this case, the 12th house deals with the aforementioned shadiness, obscurity, illegality, things that can either be frowned upon or outright illegal, at least on paper, or immoral. The sixth house is ruled by Aquarius, and you've got Pallas there also in Aquarius. It simply stands for working conditions and circumstances. Pallas says that people superficially wish they had a bit more freedom at work. They were able to be more free, longer breaks on during work and whatnot, rather than just, having to work a lot. The pot of fortune is 5 degrees in Pisces in the sixth house as well, conjunct the seventh house, which is in the same zodiac sign, and it is opposed the ascendant, which is not good. It says the same thing pretty much that Pluto was saying, and that what I was saying, referring to Pluto earlier. There is a lot of shadiness and obscurity and clandestinity going on involving working conditions and circumstances. And that includes relationships that people have with each other, so including romantic and or sexual relationships, affairs, and whatnot. People keep it on the down low. That's why the seventh house is ruled by Pisces. People want to keep that a secret, pretty much most of the time, if not all the time, if not most of the time. The eighth house is also ruled by Pisces, and then we've got Ceres in Pisces, Saturn in Pisces, Neptune is in Aries, and Venus is at its weakest in Aries and in Scorpio's house. Oh boy, Venus. Saturn isn't all too hot there either. Again, it stands for the same thing that I was saying. A lot of shadiness going on and whatnot regarding what Las Vegas is known for, gambling and games of chances and betting and wagering and whatnot. As the saying goes, the house always wins. You never win. Let's just put it that way. Um, that is the case at least most of the time, or for the majority of the time, in one way, shape, form, or one way or another. Saturn says the same thing, honestly. But it does say that people, generally speaking, both Saturn and Neptune stands for the fact that people, generally speaking, have a mentality along the lines of I can overcome whatever odds any casino or similar game of chance in Vegas will bestow upon me. So they confidently expect to still beat the house, to put it that way. Neptune stands for their mentality, which is aggressive in nature. They have a mentality along the lines of, I want to win that big money, baby. Venus at its absolute weakest there. Oh boy. In the weakest sign it can be in, arguably, as well as, or one of the weakest signs, in factually. And one of the weakest houses it can be in Mars's sign, in Mars's house. Stands for the fact that people lose a shit ton of money in Las Vegas. People go broke in Vegas. A good deal of them go broke in Vegas trying to make it. Venus is conjunct the ninth house, which is ruled by Aries, and Chiron is also there in the same zodiac sign. This simply stands for the fact that a good deal of people that are foreign to Vegas, rather than essentially people that were either born in Las Vegas and or live in Vegas, were actually are involved in the aforementioned negativity. It's always an outsider, let's just put it that way. Doesn't have to be someone that is foreign, so non-US citizen or similar. No, it's someone that someone that any person counts as a foreigner, someone from like a county or a state away, you name it. Anyone that is seen as an outsider, someone that is non-native to Vegas. And yeah, these people usually go broke. I would say that people that are native to Vegas, so local Vegasians, in any case, people native to Vegas, Las Vegas, they know better, obviously, as they should. Uh, Contrary to these outsiders. Now, speaking of outsiders, the ninth house, ruled by Aries, has Mercury, the Sun, Vulcan, Hygeia, and Uranus, all in Taurus. And everything is conjunct each other. They're all conjunct each other with the exception of Mercury. Now, what all of that stands for, all of these planets and or celestial bodies in Taurus in the ninth house stands for the fact that um, it stands for the perception that foreigners or anyone that is foreign to Las Vegas has of Vegas, a place where they can make big money, they can make all of their financial dreams come true, they can win a lot, and blah blah blah, and etc. etc. Um, Mercury and Uranus are somewhat afflicted, and Vulcan is considerably afflicted. The moon is more I mean, the sun is more neutral. Now, the afflictions, it stands for the fact that people, generally speaking, Mercury and Uranus, think that they have they come up with some kind of get rich quick scheme or a way that they can beat the slots or the way that they can beat any game of chance. Any game in Las Vegas. You've got guys that come up with schemes where they think, hey, if I apply this technique or this or that and then I can actually beat the game. I can beat the house and I can win big, and so on. That's why the sun is also here. It stands for tremendously high expectations, financial expectations that these foreigners and or outsiders have of Vegas. Vulcan is the most afflicted because not only is it in Taurus, it's also going retrograde. Stands for the fact that applying these aforementioned get rich quick schemes or tactics practically does not work out 9 out of 10 times, or at the very least 8 out of 10 times. Midheaven, so the ruler of the 10th house is ruled by Taurus as well. We've got Admetus there, 4 degrees in Gemini, Jupiter in the same zodiac sign. And I already said that Hades is in Cancer in the 10th house, and Chronos is in the 11th, also in Cancer. But this doesn't really stand for anything, as it stands simply for essentially the governing body of Las Vegas. So administrative, the mayor or mayor's office, you name it. The whole politician bit that rules that rules Vegas, the so-called powers that be, and or at a corporate level. And the fact that it's ruled by Taurus simply stands for the fact that their focus is on making money. Admetos in Gemini stands for the fact that superficially they wish they were more adept at optimizing day-to-day life. Jupiter in Gemini stands for the fact that there is a lot of day-to-day dealing and paperwork and all administrative things just going on for them. Nothing special. And Hades there in Cancer stands for the fact that generally speaking, the people that make up the governing body of Las Vegas have a superficial tendency or a minor tendency to be emotionally either frigid or unstable or inept somehow. but not to the point where it renders them, infunctionable pertaining to day-to-day life. 11th house is ruled by Cancer. 14 degrees calculation stands for, just like I said, with all of the aforementioned celestial bodies and their planets in Taurus. Guys are focusing, the masses are focusing when it comes to Vegas on, hey, making it, winning it big by using some kind of calculative technique or method, as in, hey, how can I beat the house? How can I, for example, overcome blackjack by using math or some other mathematical equation or factor or element. And Chronos in Cancer stands for the fact that usually it's these guys their downfall, but it's minor, and it also stands for the fact that maybe 1 out of 1 million of these guys actually succeeds in his or her aims. Oh, and let me see. Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's Vegas. Later.